Hi, it's Stephen Molnar here, and I'm joined by Conrad Bobolak, who is the CEO and founder of Investors Prime. Conrad, I sometimes speak with people who say that, particularly young people or people starting out again or people who have got no more equity left, that they want to get into the next property, but often they're lacking that deposit. And they've got friends or family that would like to help them, but in a limited sort of fashion. So, maybe mum or dad have got lots of equity, but they don't want to go as guarantor, or they don't want to actually give them the cash. And there's other people who have heard that there are even ways to, rather than putting a cash deposit down on a property, they can use certain financial instruments and almost rent their deposit. And in the meantime, particularly if it's off the plan, they could be saving. Could you give us a bit more detail about these sorts of financial instruments and some of the advanced ways that people are actually using them, please?
Thank you, Stephen. And yes, absolutely, coming from a banking background, one of the instruments that you can use, and there's a variety of different things you can do and different strategies you can implement, which I cover at my 2-day live real estate investing fast track weekend. But one of the ways you can enter the property market is to use a bank guarantee as a substitute for a deposit. Now, bank guarantees, you can see here, are issued by banks. They need to be secured by equity in another property, but that property doesn't have to be the buyer's property. It can be your friends or family's property. It's secured by 1-to-1 security ratio, and you pay a premium for the bank guarantee. It's around 1.6% every 6 months for the value of the bank guarantee. So if it's, let's say, for example, a $100,000 bank guarantee, you're paying $1,600 every 6 months, or $3,200 for the year, which is in a lot of instances equivalent to having a term deposit in the bank account. So a lot of people do leverage their family's equity or their parents' equity, tie it up with a bank, and then use that as a substitute for a deposit to get into the first investment property. If it's done efficiently and effectively and in the right way, it's a very simple way to get into the property market without having the need of saving that deposit. Because the reality is now, speaking to a lot of the younger people, with median prices in Melbourne for detached houses being around $650,000, it's virtually impossible for people to save 65 grand as a deposit plus legal, and stamp duty. So fast tracking your results by leveraging of your family's or friends' equity is definitely a very valid way of getting into the property market. This can also be used even in other ways, such as buying off the plan with a long-term settlement, and also with the ability to settle against the high valuation with no money down, which is a little bit more advanced. I won't cover it today. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, but I do cover other strategies at the event as well that can help people get into the property market with very little money down.
Right, and just one last part about that, Conrad. I believe it's probably a little bit more advanced that we have time for, but this could be a way for not just parents to help their children or friends to help others, but it could also limit their liability as opposed to just offering a blank guarantee for that loan. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I mean, if you offer a blank guarantee, there's virtually unlimited liability there.
Yes.
So this really restricts their liability just to that 10% of equity that they're tying up in their property. Otherwise, if you're offering, unlimited, guarantee, you could lose your whole house. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen from a practical perspective. Yeah. I wouldn't know what the circumstances would be, but from a legal perspective, that would be possible. So you want to make sure that when you're leveraging off your parents' or friends' equity, they're protected as well, and the liability is limited to that deposit as well, which Absolutely. Is very, very important for both parties.
Yeah. And
you wouldn't want to lose your family's home.
Absolutely not. So in many ways, at the Fast Track event, you're probably going to get access to and learn about new and advanced strategies that probably most bankers and other professionals, unless they're specialists, may not be aware of. So I really want to encourage you to come along, because you probably don't know what you don't know, and that may open some new opportunities, some new doors for you, and get a better result. So we look forward to seeing you at the event. Just look down below.
Yeah, absolutely. All you've got to do is scroll down below, check the dates. This is Conrad Bobolak, and I'll see you live at the event.
Cheers, thanks.